Hello everyone, my name is Praveen and thank you for joining our Masterclass for 2019. This is the second session for this season and hope you enjoyed the previous one on straightforward password management for business teams. The next session is going to be on September 12th about implementing Windows Service Account security best practices. A quick introduction about myself. I work as a product consultant. And as a product consultant, what I do is I basically deploy IT security solutions in organizations across the globe. And during the implementation stage, I get to interact with IT administrators and security experts and get to know their IT security challenges. So in today's session, with that knowledge, I will discuss about local administrator account management for Windows and Unix environments. With local administrative rights, the security control used to protect a company system, including password controls, anti-malware software, and similar tools, can be shut off. Granting local admin rights risks the installation of unapproved software, breaking business critical applications, and causing disruption and downtime. Local admin rights can also expose a company to malware, including number of different phishing scams that can deliberately run codes on system with full permission. If someone clicks on the malicious link or opens an affected email content. So, if the local administrator accounts are weak, left unchanged, or shared among IT staff, or if the accounts are not disabled, malicious users can easily gain unauthorized access to workstation. The worst case scenario is an attacker with access to the local admin account could navigate widely across the network and even elevate the privileges to the domain administrator or a root account. Now, how do we manage these threats faced by due to the local admin accounts? The simplest way to avoid these problems with local administrator is to disable them entirely. But that again exposes to other problems such as when the network goes down, it's going to be hard without local admin passwords. So keeping local admin password as a non-threat requires some maintenance. The network admin should make sure these passwords are unique, they are not reused or not usable at all. This needs to happen even when deploying machines from a template. So typically the network admins, when they create a new server or a machine, what they do is they just take an image and they deploy it, right? So even in that, reusing passwords can be so much easier from the maintenance perspective, but once again, that's going to be a security threat, isn't it? So now let's see what are the challenges which are faced due to the local administrator account. So we have huge number of workstations, servers, and machines which are built either using Windows or a Linux platform, and there are going to be number of local accounts, especially administrator accounts, which is not feasible to supervise them manually, right? So again, automating the password reset is one of the best practices, but doing it is going to be very difficult because there are even a typical SMB, they will have like hundreds and hundreds of servers, and changing the password of the local admin accounts on these servers is going to be a difficult task. And once again, when these passwords, when you go ahead and try to reset these passwords, you should ensure that each and every password is unique and it should not be repeated. And the reuse of old passwords should be prohibited. And you should also set the age for the passwords, etc. So, how do we overcome all these challenges? So, the best possible solution is to have a proper password management tool, right? So what do we expect from the password management tool? The first thing is the password management tool should enforce a strong password policy. When I say strong password policy, it should have like a minimum number, maximum number, mixed cases, alphabets, numbers, the login, I mean, the password should not begin with the login name and all these complexity, right? So, yes, we do have this option in Manage Engine Password Manager Pro where we can define the complexity of the passwords when you're creating them. Next, so the next one is how quickly or easily we can discover these Windows and Unix servers and workstations inside the network. So we should have a tool. So let's say we have a tool, password management, but that tool should be able to fetch all these servers and workstations quickly, right? So it should have a easy discovery option. And the next one is going to be once these servers are being discovered inside the password manager product, it should do a bulk password reset upon discovery. So that's the next requirement. Post that, once this has been done, for example, if you have any servers which are behind the firewall or which are in demilitarized zone, so you should also manage those local admin passwords, for which we need some kind of agents to be deployed on the target machine in order to manage those passwords. And role-based access. So when we have role-based access control in picture, what will typically happen is once a password is being used by a certain user within your network, these passwords should be automatically reset upon the usage. So we should ensure strong workflows are in place. And the next thing is allowing the users to connect to this target machine without even revealing the passwords. So admins, yes, they have the privilege to make use of the passwords. However, if you have any contractors or help desk engineers coming to your organization, then for those, these passwords should be not visible in clear text. And there should, once again, all these passwords should be rotated on schedule basis in order to ensure the compliance. So any compliance like PCI DSS, HIPAA, SOX, they will all ensure all the local admin passwords should be reset periodically, say 60 days or 90 days. So that is the next requirement of a password manager tool. Now, that being said, let's see how Manage Engine Password Manager Pro helps you to achieve all these requirements. So the first task is defining the password policy. So in Password Manager Pro, we have a we have a password policy where you can define the complexity of a password. So you can specify the minimum length, maximum length, the characters allowed. You can set the age for the passwords and reuse of old passwords. So once you define your policy, you can just click on top of it to see what exactly is it, right? So this is the first things, and you can have different policies created based on different environments. For Windows, you can have one kind of policy. For Unix, you can have a different policy, right? So once the password policy has been created, the next thing is you have to first discover all the servers inside your network. So in order to discover the servers, we have an option here where we can automatically discover all your member servers with the local accounts present in it. So I'm going to typically add a machine and show you how exactly it works. So once I have clicked on discover, and I will be able to see the discovery status here. When the Windows discovery is scheduled from Password Manager Pro, it not only discovers the service, but it also discovers all the local accounts present in it. The same way, let me discover a Unix machine and show you how it works. So you can, when discovering a Unix machine, you can either specify an IP address, host name, or you can also create a file, text file, in which you can have the IP address or host name in a comma separated format. So I'm just going to give a host name here. I'm selecting the profile and I'm clicking on discover. So once it's been done, this discovery task will be completed and you will be able to see the discovered machine over here along with the accounts present in it. So when Password Manager Pro performs a discovery option, it will be able to only discover all the local accounts, but it will not have the ability to get the existing passwords. So in order for that, okay, once the discovery is done, you can automatically change the passwords from this tool by just generating a random password here and clicking on save. So this will ensure your policy, the passwords which are created based on the policy or applied on the target machines. Once the password is being reset successfully, you can also verify the passwords here. So you can simply click on any password and you can check whether the passwords are in sync with the target machine or not. So when you click on verify password, Password Manager will make use of the password, connect to the target machine and ensure it's in sync, right? And so once this has been discovered, we are able to perform the on-demand password reset. However, the important functionality is we have to change the passwords in bulk, where if, for example, I'm going to create a group here, okay, for which was going to fetch all the root accounts from the Linux box. So I'm just giving a group name as root account, and I'm specifying a criteria here stating resource type equals Linux, and adding one more criteria here stating user account equals root, and I'm clicking on search. So this is going to pull out the root accounts from the Linux box, and I'm clicking on save. So now I have the root account, and what I can do is I can either perform a password reset on demand, right? So I can, when performing it, I can either generate a unique password or I can specify one password. Since the recommended one is to generate a unique password for every account, I'm going that option and click save. This will automatically reset all the passwords on the Unix box. So this is to perform an on-demand password reset once all the accounts are being discovered inside the tool. However, once the accounts are being discovered, the next functionality is to reset the passwords on schedule basis, right? So for performing that, we have an option here which says periodic password reset, where you can perform bulk password reset, okay? And when this is going to happen, you can send a pre-notification to the recipients here that the password reset is going to happen, and then you can either generate a unique password or assign the same password, or you can specify one password and apply that on all the accounts. Once again, I'm going by the recommended best practice, where is to generate a unique password for every account. And then I can schedule the duration, like how frequently the password reset should happen. Once that is done, I can specify either 30 days, 60 days, or I can even go by monthly. And then I can specify the post reset notification, like the list of passwords which has been successfully reset and the list of passwords for which the password reset has been failed. All right, so I can click on finish. So this way, the schedule will be automatically added and the password reset can be performed on all the Windows accounts and local accounts. So let me quickly explain you how the password reset actually happens from Password Manager Pro. So if it is a Windows machine, we make use of the service account which is used to run the Password Manager service, and we perform password resets on the target machine. Whereas if it is a Unix platform, what we do is you have to tell Password Manager Pro the protocol and how to manage those passwords, right? So you have to click on this remote password reset and you have to select whether it's going to be SSH or Telnet protocol. You have to specify the port number. You have to specify a remote login account, and then to elevate to the privilege account, you can specify a root account where it can either sus root or use sudo. Once this is done, you can click on save. So for Windows, as I told you, we make use of the native WMA protocol, and for Linux and Unix machines, we make use of the SSH or the Telnet protocol. Okay, so now once the password reset has been configured, All right. When you change the password, we make use of those protocols in order to connect to the target machine and to update the passwords. Apart from that, what we do is, um, for example, let's say you have servers which are behind the firewall, or if you have any servers in the demilitarized zone. In those scenarios, you can deploy our agents using which the passwords can be managed. So the typically agent will alone connect to the password manager server. The password manager server will never communicate with the agent machine, right? So these are one-way agents which will keep polling the server every 5 seconds for actions like password reset and verification. So the difference between the agents are, the Windows is for managing all the local accounts of the member servers and the workstations. Windows domain is for managing the service accounts and all domain-based accounts. And Linux is for all Linux platforms. All right. So when you deploy the agents without having any firewall ports open, you can manage the passwords of all the target machines which are behind the firewall or which are in the demilitarized zone. Right. So now we know the passwords have been reset. So you should have attended the previous class in which my colleague should have explained you how the sharing concept works in Password Manager Pro. Apart from the sharing concept, we also have something called role-based access control. So what's the benefit of role-based access control? So if you have any contractors or people coming to temporarily to your organization, when you share a password, you don't want those users to make use of the passwords just like that. Instead, you want them to request for the password, get it approved by an authorized admin, and then to make use of it. So for those, we have something called access control workflow, where you can select an authorized administrator to approve the password, and you can also select the time duration for which the password should be available for them. Post that, the very important factor is when you provide access to that particular user, you should ensure that the password is immediately changed after that time duration. So in Password Manager Pro, we have the ability where we can connect to those machines and we can automatically reset after that specified time. Right? So this is the very important functionality when it comes to managing the local admin passwords, especially which are being revealed to contractors and other temporary employees. And the next important function is, even within your organization, or let's say someone coming in for your organization to work temporarily, it's not a best practice to reveal the passwords in clear text to them. So what you need to do is you need to allow them to take automatically RDP or SSH sessions from this tool. So we have an option in which you can disable the users from retrieving the passwords in clear text. So once this option has been unchecked, now uh, what the user will do is they will simply connect to this connections tab, right? And they will click on whatever server they want, the account which is being shared to them, and they will take an RDP session from this tool. So this way, you are not going to reveal any passwords in clear text for your end users, but you are going to allow them to take RDP session, and these sessions are going to be completely recorded and stored as a video, right? And the same way, if it is going to be a Unix based machine, you can allow them to take a SSH session, and whatever commands you type in along with the output will be completely or captured and stored inside the Password Manager Pro. Right. So this is another functionality where without revealing the passwords in clear text to the end users, you can allow them to take RDP or SSH sessions from the password management. Right. So that's other thing. And the very last functionality is, though these local admin passwords, all right, we are having a lot of options to manage them, it is also necessary that we keep a track of what is happening to these accounts, right? That is going to be very important. So we have dedicated audits and reports which will explain what has happened to each and every account which is stored inside Password Manager Pro. For example, a password is being retrieved, it's being changed. Along with the date and timestamp, we completely have a record of it. And we also have an option where all these events can be sent as an email, or if you have any SIEM tools, you can send them as a syslog or SNMP trap from this store. And this is one option, and the next one is the reports. So we have an inventory report of who has access to what password, when it's been expired, what activity is being performed on the password. So the complete list of reports we have, which you can schedule and receive on schedule basis. So this functionality, the auditing and reporting, will be very useful when you have a compliance audit taking place in your organization. You can show the complete audit events, as well as you can give them reports to explain this is what has happened to the passwords and this is how we monitor them. All right, so this comes to the end of the session. All right, if you have any questions, please raise them in the chat panel and I will be glad to answer them for you. Oh, so there is a question by Tim saying, on the Windows, can you discover by IP or range of IPs? So the Windows discovery, what we support here is basically we connect to the domain and we discover all the domain member servers which are present on them, right? So yes, you can specify the value either in a IP or a comma separated, but you cannot specify it as a range. What you can do is, if you want to discover the Windows resources, you can query your domain controller, where you can simply provide the credentials, leave the last three fields blank, and click on fetch groups and OUs. So what it will do is it will automatically connect to your Active Directory and it will enumerate and show you the list of groups and organization units which you can select, and you will be able to import them in bulk, right? So the next question is, I have a system standalone non-domain. So for the systems which are not attached to the domain, um, as I told you, you can either add them manually here one by one, or you can construct a comma separated or a tab separated file, and you can import them in bulk inside this tool. So for non-domain member servers, you can add them manually, and you can once again configure the remote password reset here by clicking on remote password reset, and you can specify an admin account. So using this admin account, they can connect to the box and they can manage the passwords. And once again, if you have those non-domain servers, especially the non-domain servers will be behind the firewall in a or on an isolated network, so you can make use of these agents and you will be able to manage those passwords. So the next question is how to manage local server administrator account. So this the same thing. So which I explained you from the beginning. You can discover all your servers inside this tool, and you can group them together, right? So once the servers are discovered, all your accounts will be present. You can create static groups and you can periodically reset the passwords from here. So when you perform the periodic password reset, it will be automatically changed based on the time interval which is being specified by you, and this will help you in achieving the compliance completely. All right, so I believe I have answered all the questions, and thank you for your time for joining today's session. Hope it was useful and informative. So the next session is going to be on September 12th on managing the Windows Service account. All right. I hope I request you to join the session. And thank you once again. You guys have a nice day.